Barbara Stanwyck, born Ruby Catherine Stevens in Brooklyn in 1907, entered the world under difficult circumstances that would quietly shape her strength for the rest of her life. Losing her mother at a very young age and later being separated from her father meant that stability was something she learned to create for herself, rather than expect from others. She spent time in foster homes and with her sister, absorbing lessons about independence, resilience, and emotional control long before she ever stepped onto a stage. These early hardships did not harden her spirit. Instead, they refined it. She developed a quiet discipline and a keen awareness of human emotion that would later become the foundation of her acting style. What many admired in her performances, honesty, depth, and subtle power, was not learned in classrooms, but forged through real-life experience and an unbreakable will to move forward. From dance floors to Broadway lights before Hollywood discovered her, Stanwyck's first steps into entertainment came through dance and stage performance in New York during the vibrant 1920s. Working in nightclubs and theatrical productions, she gradually built confidence and stage presence while learning the value of timing and audience connection. Producers soon noticed her natural charisma and expressive face, which carried emotion even without dialogue. Broadway offered her the first real platform to demonstrate her range, and positive critical responses opened the door to film opportunities. Adopting the name Barbara Stanwyck, she transitioned into cinema at a time when the industry itself was evolving rapidly. Her screen debut marked the beginning of a career defined not by glamour alone, but by substance and commitment. She approached each role with seriousness and preparation, earning a reputation for reliability. This steady rise showed that success often grows from persistence and professionalism, rather than overnight fame or dramatic breakthroughs. A star of versatility and emotional honesty. Throughout the 1930s and 1940s, Stanwyck became known as one of Hollywood's most dependable and versatile performers. She could portray warmth, humor, determination, and vulnerability with equal conviction, allowing audiences to see reflections of real life within fictional stories. Her performances resonated because they felt sincere rather than theatrical, grounded in emotional truth instead of exaggeration. She moved comfortably between genres, appearing in dramas, comedies, thrillers, and westerns without losing authenticity. Critics frequently praised her ability to convey deep feeling through small gestures and quiet expressions rather than dramatic speeches. This restraint distinguished her from many contemporaries and contributed to her lasting appeal. She became not just a recognizable face, but a trusted presence on screen, someone viewers believed. Her career during this period established her as an artist who valued craft over spectacle, consistency over trend, and emotional realism over surface glamour. Graceful transition into television. As the film industry shifted and many established actors struggled to adapt, Stanwyck demonstrated remarkable flexibility by embracing television. Rather than seeing it as a step down, she approached the medium as another opportunity to tell meaningful stories and reach new audiences. Her performances on television carried the same discipline and sincerity that defined her film work, earning her renewed admiration and critical acclaim. Viewers who had never seen her earlier movies discovered her talent through weekly broadcasts, allowing her career to continue flourishing across generations. This transition highlighted her openness to change and her refusal to be limited by labels or expectations. She remained focused on quality rather than format, proving that genuine artistry can thrive in any medium. Her continued success illustrated a professional philosophy centered on growth and adaptability, reminding colleagues and fans alike that longevity in creative fields often comes from embracing evolution rather than resisting it. Professionalism. Behind the scenes. Beyond her public image, Stanwyck was widely respected within the industry for her work ethic and humility. She arrived prepared, treated colleagues with courtesy, and rarely sought unnecessary attention. Crew members often spoke of her punctuality and willingness to collaborate, qualities that created a positive atmosphere on set. She believed that professionalism was not merely about talent, but about respect for the script, the schedule, and the people involved in bringing a story to life. Her private lifestyle also reflected a desire for balance, choosing simplicity over extravagance. Despite her fame, this grounded approach earned her long-term respect from peers who valued reliability as much as performance. She understood that success was sustained through consistent effort rather than occasional brilliance. Her reputation grew not only from memorable roles, but from the steady integrity she displayed throughout decades of work, reinforcing the idea that character behind the camera matters as much as presence in front of it. Relationships, growth, and personal lessons. Stanwyck's personal life, like many in the public eye, included moments of joy and periods of change that influenced her perspective. Her marriages represented different chapters of maturity and self-understanding, rather than simple, romantic milestones. Early relationships introduced her to the complexities of balancing personal identity with professional ambition, while later experiences brought a quieter sense of companionship and mutual respect. Through these journeys, she maintained dignity and discretion, choosing not to turn private matters into public drama. Friends often described her as loyal yet self-reliant, someone who valued emotional honesty and independence equally. These qualities allowed her to move forward without bitterness when circumstances shifted. Her personal experiences enriched her performances by deepening her empathy and emotional awareness. Rather than defining her by relationships alone, she allowed them to become part of her broader life story. Lessons that strengthened her resilience and informed the nuanced portrayals audiences admired. Working differences and professional boundaries. Throughout her extensive career, Stanwyck collaborated with many talented actors and built numerous respectful partnerships. Like any professional environment, however, creative differences occasionally arose. She believed strongly in preparation, punctuality, and mutual respect, and she expected those standards from others. When working styles clashed, she chose to maintain composure rather than engage in open conflict, focusing instead on completing her responsibilities with dignity. Colleagues noted that she rarely spoke harshly about anyone publicly, preferring discretion over controversy. Her approach emphasized boundaries rather than confrontation, demonstrating that professionalism can coexist with personal preference. These moments of tension were not defining features of her legacy, but natural parts of long careers where many personalities intersect. What remained consistent was her ability to keep personal feelings separate from performance, ensuring that audiences saw polished work, regardless of behind-the-scenes dynamics. This quiet discipline reinforced her image as a steady and reliable presence in the industry. Values rooted in authenticity and respect. A central theme in Stanwyck's life was authenticity. Having experienced instability early on, she valued honesty and directness in both personal and professional relationships. She admired humility and dedication, often expressing appreciation for those who approach their craft with sincerity. This value system shaped her decisions and interactions, guiding her to prioritize substance over appearance. She believed that genuine respect was earned through actions rather than words, a principle reflected in her consistent work habits and thoughtful demeanor. Those who knew her well described a person who could be warm and supportive while also maintaining firm standards. Her authenticity did not come from rigidity, but from clarity about what mattered to her: integrity, fairness, and dedication. These qualities contributed to a reputation that endured beyond individual roles or awards, painting a portrait of someone who understood that character off-screen ultimately influences how achievements are remembered on it. A lasting legacy in cinema. History. Barbara Stanwyck's legacy rests not only on the number of films she made or the awards she received, but on the impression she left through sincerity and strength. She represented a generation of performers who approached storytelling as both craft and responsibility, believing that authenticity created lasting impact. Her ability to adapt across decades and mediums demonstrated creative courage, while her steady professionalism inspired colleagues and future artists alike. Even after her passing, her performances continue to resonate because they reflect universal emotions rather than fleeting trends. She showed that resilience can transform hardship into artistry, and that quiet determination often speaks louder than grand gestures. Remembered for grace, discipline, and emotional depth, she remains an enduring figure in entertainment history. Her life story ultimately serves as a reminder that perseverance, honesty, and respect can shape not only a successful career, but a meaningful and influential legacy.